Hello trader, welcome back to this new weekly market outlook video where we prepare for the upcoming week. I will share with you as usual the level I will look for and my plans for this week on specifically on major dollar pairs and some commodities instrument. Okay, so let's start with the economic calendar for the upcoming week. We have Monday, we have nothing special. Next one, we have the Australian dollar inflation. Interesting, need to pay attention to this news on Wednesday. We also have the interest rate in Canada. Interesting. Pay attention on it. On it. We also have the interest rate from the Federal Reserve. Interesting. Are we gonna keep cutting rates or are we gonna hold rates? Is the question with all the uncertainty surrounding the US dollar right now. This will be we need to pay attention on the speech of the Federal Reserve. Okay. On Wednesday night, Thursday, what do we have on the usual unemployment claim, which is, I mean, yeah, last week was a good number. So we will see this week. Then we have the USD, the trade balance. Check, pay attention of it. The natural gas storage, yeah, yes, last week was a good number. So this will be a confirmation of what happened this week. So I will touch on that in the end of the video about the natural gas. I miss a pretty good trade on this. I predict well the rise of natural gas, but I miss the trade. I will explain it later. Okay. Then we have the inflation of on Japanese yen year on year. So after the interest rate was released Friday, we get we get inflation data on Friday next. Okay. And we have some German premium CPI. Yeah. Also, important news will be the PPI on USD and the GDP on Canadian dollar. That's the news which will be interesting to keep our eyes on it. Okay. Okay, let's go to the DXY to analyze DXY. So, this week was very volatile week because we had a lot of, I will say, a lot of movement because of Trump's announcements. We also have, I think, we have a huge drop on dollar, the DXY this week. I was not expect this drop, to be honest. I think this drop was caused by all the news that happened this week around surrounding the uncertainty on the dollar based on the Trump tweets on X, Trump announcement, Trump threatened the European about the situation in Groenland, and we also have threatened about the what's happened in the Middle East. We will see we have some impact on crude oil. We will see in a minute. So pretty much good, not good, pretty much a lot of movement this week. So for me, specifically for me, it was very hard to predict or to have a good direction on DXY. So let me see. I think I read an article which explained it very well. I think I will find it on, yes, weekly economic calendar. Let me click on that. You see, they explain Trump continue to unsettle market with both his bold statement and action, prompting investors to seek refuge in traditional safe haven. You see, that's why we are going to see gold rising up. We're going to see when we talk about safe haven, we talk about currency like CHF, also Japanese yen. All those currency are considered as safe haven. We see if you go check on all of this currency, we see a great rise of this currency because when we have uncertainty or we have some major news we can impact the world, the economic on the world, investors tends to move money to safe currencies like gold. So we have the CHF, the Swiss franc. We also have the Japanese yen, but the Japanese yen actually is very driven by fiscal policy right now. And then we also have the interest rates release on Friday. We will see it in a minute, but all I want to say is this week was very difficult for me. We have a lot of tweet on Trump. We also have this thing I saw on the feeds. We see Donald Trump, the president of the United States, posting a screenshot of his private conversation with Emmanuel Macron, which is the president of France, talking about the situation in Groenland. Macron asked him to he want to set a meeting after Davos. Davos is the place where the World Economic meeting happening. we have all the powerful people, important people, businessmen meeting there to take some decision which can impact the rest of the world. So all that in 1 week was very, very, very volatile for the market. So I think they installed this uncertainty on the US dollar. So trying to we see the famous phenomenon tacos, which is called tacos. What is tacos? Tacos is all stand for Trump always chickens house. It means that whenever Trump says something, for example, he wants to annex the Groenland, he wants to put some tariff on European country which are opposed to his decision on annexing the Groenland. He said that in the first, and maybe 2 days after or 3 days after, he goes back on his decision and decide to remove the uh, the tariff on European. So he says something and he goes back again on his decision. That's why we talk about the taco. Trump always taken out this phenomenon of taco cause a really really fluctuation, big fluctuation in the market. This is why the market will 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 start to be very unpredictable. Okay, so but that doesn't prevent us to take a trade. We also need to be very careful and reduce our risks. That's what I do. I take a loss on GBPUSD this week. I also reduce my risk on this trade. So talking about that, I will make another video for the trade breakdown, as I already do one, the first trade breakdown video last week. So for this series, trade breakdown video series, I prefer to release it every 2 weeks because I am more a swing trader than a day trader, so I can take one trade a week or maybe two. It's not a lot. So making every time I make a trade in 1 week, I don't want to make a video for one trade, so I prefer to group. In 2 weeks, I have a lot of possibility to take a trade. At least one or two trade a week is enough to make a video. So the trade breakdown, or I want to say the trade breakdown video will be released, I think, each 2 week, bi-weekly, I would say. So um, let's go analyze the DXY based on what's going on. Let me delete that. On the monthly, we still have you can see DXY is still in this channel. We are bottoming. We are bottoming the bottom of this channel. You can see price is stuck right there. So let me remove this to see it clearly. You can see the monthly candle just switch bearish. So is I think we could target this low as the next target. So let's go down to the weekly. We still have this monthly demand, which for me is very, I need to pay attention of this because at any moment price could go higher, even higher than that. So need to pay attention. So in weekly, I have my monthly order flow, but this monthly thing is not very, very powerful because as I said last week, we didn't really break above this high. So closing above this high. So this make me, in a sense, for me, a weak low. So I would not be surprised if we run this low, this price decide to run this low. And for me, right now, it seems like we are ranging clearly. GSY is in a range on a weekly time frame. So the real movement, the real direction will be, excuse me, the real direction will be, I think, in a sense, when price decides to really break this low, this resistance, this support, excuse me, this support, and maybe retest it and start to form a order flow bearish, at least to this zone, the main zone. Or there is a possibility we see a rebounce of dollar, we integrate the range and start a new rise, then break this resistance to the upside and retrace even higher. But until we are between this level of support and resistance, I think we don't have a clear direction in higher time frame right now. So, but let's go down to the daily. So the daily just shift. The daily order flow just shift bearish for me. So remember last week I was expecting, because of this shift of structure daily, I was expecting price to retrace around the distance zone and then continue higher, at least to this zone. But based on the news and the events we have this week, talking about the situation in Groenland, the announcement of Trump, the threats of Trump around Iran, or over the tariff on European products, all that stuff, and plus the uncertainty around the US dollar make it fall very, very hard. I was not very expecting this at all. So yeah, but as a trader, we need to adapt. And what I see right now is a shift of daily order flow. So that's why you can see my order flow daily has shifted. So for this moment, for the next week, I kind of like change my bias. This is how a trader need to adapt. You need to change your bias when it needs to, when the market show you it's time to shift your bias. Don't marry your bias to the end because you want to have reason always, all time. No, trade what you see and not what you want to see, if this makes sense. Okay, so right now I'm bearish because I see my daily order flow just shift, but I will be very cautious. My target on sell side will be first this zone, and second will be this zone, which is the origin of my weekly order flow, which I means start to be very weak. I would not be surprised, as I said, if we run this low. Okay, and then let's go down to the 4 hour. What do we have in 4 hour? Yeah, in 4 hour we see we pretty much retest the bottom of this channel and sell off. So this, I have my day order for bearish, and I also have my 4 hour order for bearish. You can see we have a high, a low, high, another low forming right now. So I have my daily order for bearish, my 4 hour order for bearish. So I'm bearish for the week, for the next weeks. Okay, on DXY. No, so that's my direction on DXY for the next week. The next one is Euro USD. So in Euro USD, what do we have? We, based on the weakness on the DXY, I am bullish on Euro USD this time. So I'm targeting, seems like price is targeting this high. You see, we're targeting this high. We have this other block which was holding price. It seems like if we close this monthly candle above, seems like we can continue to reach at least this resistance right there. Okay, so I have my monthly order for bullish. Let's go down to the weekly. Weekly was a bit ranging. You can see we didn't break the high yet, we didn't break the low yet, so it's kind of like in a range right now. So let's go down to the day to see clearly. We finished the week bullish. This is a good sign that the next week would be there is a high probability that is we are bullish. So I'm targeting on the buy side this high first as the first target, and as I said, this as my second target for the next week. Okay. On the sell side, maybe a retracement around the monthly and yearly open will be possibility to take another buy in discount zone. So we will see. Is with this volume, I think there's high chance that price retrace a little bit before rising higher again. In any case, we are bullish on Euro USD. The bias have changed. On the daily, what do we see? Can see we have a new order for daily has formed. Can see we break this high. So this is my order for daily here. In 4 hour, also have my order flow. This is my order flow 4 hours. So I expect at least I want to see a retrace around this imbalance zone to take a trade to the upside, targeting these highs, as I said, as my first target, and this as my second target, which represent the top of I think the monthly channel. If, yeah, the monthly of this channel, the top of this channel around here as my next target for the next week. Okay, so I'm bullish on Euro USD. Next one is the GBP USD. So GBP USD, what do we have? We have the monthly order flow bullish. Seems like the monthly is very bullish. We are targeting this high as the first target, and boss is probably this high as a second target. Okay, let's go down to the weekly. What do we have? We seems like we are retracing the weekly order flow. This was my weekly order flow. You see, um, I was expect a retrace around this premium zone like that, but the events change, the buyer change a little bit. So, with all these events and tweets and all major events happening this week, the buyers just change. So I think we are we are reversing the weekly order flow will be reversed, I think. So let's go down to the daily and to point that we have also can see a new daily order flow as formed. So another proof that is bullish on GBPUSD, and plus the fact that we have a good news on GBP. Let's go back to Forex Factory. You can see the last week. I think we have good number on GBP. Where is it? Here, retail sales. Good number on retail sales. We expect pretty much nothing from the operators, but we have 0.5% which has been released, which is a good number. And remember, the previous week, the week before this week, we also have good number on growth, the growth data. So I think like the economy on pound is picking up a little bit. So that's why we can see a strength coming from the pound, plus the fact that US dollar is weakened, surrounding by those all those uncertainty around the dollar. So my buy is bullish has changed on GBPUSD, so I'm bullish for the next week. I think we need we also need to pay attention with this line, because this line I believe it was a resistance on. Yeah, yeah, you see, every time we enter this imbalance, this is a 12-month imbalance we reject many times. You see, price didn't close a bit above this level, so we need to pay attention on this level. It's not, I will not be surprised if we have some rejection here, right there. So compared to the EURUSD, I think I have more room. You see, you can see we have more room to reach. So I think I will be more focused on EURUSD this week than the GBPUSD. So let's see. Let's go down to we have the daily order flow. Okay, the 4 hour. What do we have in 4 hour? The 4 hour is still bullish. You can see daily order flow, 4 hour order flow starting from here. So we have some kind of imbalance right there. You can see if I drag this imbalance from the to the past, you can see it acts as a resistance right there. Price form a resistance right there. So I will not be surprised if all I want to see is some retracement around this level, maybe, and another shoot up to the upside, targeting finally this high, and then this level. Okay, so I'm bullish on GBPUSD for the next week. The next one is AUD USD. So AUD USD, we can see that price is actually breaking out of this large channel, descending channel, I would say. So these are very good patterns, which in 90% of the time break is a reversal pattern. So we expect price to break out to the upside. So we have a huge candle. I mean, it's also because of the news we get on Australian dollar about the jobs data last week on Thursday. We pretty much have a good number, more than we expect. We expect something like 28, around 28,000. We get more than that, which is good for the economy. We also have the unemployment rate, which comes out lower, which also good for AUD economy. So on top of that, we have the weakness of the US dollar based on what is going on. So that proves pretty clear what direction AUD is going on. Okay, so this will be the next target is high. So let's go down to the weekly. We have this. We have this order flow weekly. So this is my weekly order flow. Okay, let's go down to the daily. The daily is still bullish also. So we have the weekly order flow bullish, the daily order flow bullish. We also have the 4 hour order flow bullish. You see, this is the 4 hour starting here. So this is a huge momentum. We talked about this range on the weekly market outlook last week. See, price was ranging right there because of AUD strong strength, and the USD at this time was strong, but as soon as the USD get lower, we observe a huge break of this range retest and a shoot up to the upside. So for the next week, we pretty much close the next target, which is this high. You see, this high, it seems like we are going towards this on the next week. And after that, the next, I don't know, the next target is this. I'm not so sure we will target it for the next week, but there is a possibility that price starts, for example, to take this high. Maybe we will see a huge reverse in the discount before getting higher again. So that's what I'm expecting on AUD. But for day trading or short term, there is a possibility that price will trace around this imbalance zone and start to rise again. Or another possibility, if price decide to even trace even lower, I have this demand zone right there to take a buy again. But this zone will not be how can I say that, it will not be useful if the price decide to reach this target first. I will not will consider I will pay attention of this zone because this zone could be crushed at any moment due to this huge retracement coming from the take profit or from this high. Okay, so I will looking for huge retracement before getting in the trade again on the buy. Okay, so that's my scenario on AUD USD. So, but I still bullish on AUD. Okay, keep my eye on this level before taking this target. Okay. The next one is NZDUSD. So NZDUSD, what do we have? We have strong move to the upside last week. I think let's go down to the weekly. This is my weekly order flow. You can see price decides to move, break structure, retrace around the demand zone right there and starting to rise again. You see, so this is my weekly order flow. I expect a run of this high to form a new weekly order flow. On the daily time frame, we have, you can see we have this order flow daily, which has formed. So I expect something like a little bit retracement around the imbalance zone before starting to take this high. Okay, this is my first target for the next week on buy side. So let's go to the 4 hour. What we have in 4 hour? In 4 hour, we pretty much have, yeah, we have some kind of retracement right there. This will be my, let me update my 4 hour order flow. You can see we have this movement, a huge retracement and a new break higher. So we also have the imbalance there because remember the trend is strong. Right now we have this imbalance. I will not be surprised if price decide to retrace here before before starting going up again, targeting this high. So that's my plan. And even though the price decide to break this imbalance zone, I will wait price around this zone to take a new buy again. So there is another possibility. We could see, let me go up a little bit. We could see a break directly of the channel, retest above the channel, and a new run of this high. Okay, that's the three possibility I am seeing right now on NZD Okay, but I'm still bullish because USD dollar currently is bearish. Okay, the next one is USDJPY. So USDJPY, we have last week we have the interest rate on from the Bank of Japan, I believe on Friday. Yeah, policy, Bank of Japan policy rate. They decide to hold interest rate. So they left rate unchanged at 0.75%. So, but we something interesting I read is Bank of Japan raised economic growth forecast. Seems like their election, which is coming in Japan, and I think is very driven by policy, by fiscal policy. So we observe, if we go to the USDJPY, a huge drop on USDJPY. So the 5 day close bearish due to this announce. I think the raise of economic growth planned by Bank of Japan's, forecasted by Bank of Japan's, is making the Japanese yen strong. So plus the fact that we have the currently the USD weaken is weak actually. So I would not be surprised if we see a huge drop of the USDJPY at least around maybe the point of control from this here. There's a possibility we have a huge drop, a huge retracement. So we can also check the yen Japanese basket, this this index. We could see in monthly we already sweep the all-time low, I would say, of the Japanese basket. So if we go down to the weekly or maybe the daily, you see, yeah, we have a huge rejection of this low. You see, huge rejection. So if I see a change of structure, which could be happen in the next week, a change of pattern of this Japanese basket with the approach of election and the will of the Bank of Japan to to raise economic growth, forecast economic growth, we could see a strength, a good strength on Japanese yen, okay, something like that. So based on that, if I go back to the USDJPY, so I would say I am a short-term bearish on USDJPY because why I said short-term bearish. Remember on DXY we are still on a monthly. We still have this monthly demand. So at any moment, price US dollar can rebound. At any moment, if I don't see a rebound on US dollar, maybe USDJPY could drop at this time. So right now I'm short and bearish on USDJPY based on what we see on Bank of Japan and on the current situation, the uncertainty surrounding the US dollar. I would say I'm a bit bearish. We also have the 4 hour, which also switch bearish, the 4 hour order flow, just switch bearish. So for the next week, I expect price, I want to price at least retrace around this monthly open and yearly open on this imbalance. Give me a retrace to the downside around this level. Okay. So that's my plan for the USDJPY for the next week. I'm short and bearish right now. Okay. Maybe if we break this low, we could reach this level which corresponds, but we are not here yet. So I expect to run this first and then this low in the second time. Okay. So that's it for USDJPY. I'm short and bearish. Okay. Maybe we could see another retracement around this point of control from the last week. All I want to see is a retrace around premium zone to make a short again. Okay. The next one is USDCAD. USDCAD, what's happened on USDCAD? Remember on 12 month, we still in premium of this yearly order flow. We are currently sitting in premium zone of this yearly order flow, you see. So in premium zone, what could we expect? We expect a short of price. Okay. So I want to sell this price at least if we zoom in, we still in 12-month time frame. If we zoom in, we can see the yearly candle, the 12-month candle start to shift to bearish, we can see. So we could expect this low as the first target of the year on sell side, and maybe we will see for how the price is going on USDCAD. So let's go down on monthly. What do we see? Let me get rid of this Fibonacci. Let me zoom in. We see also a reject of, you can see this week, this long week rejecting this point of control from the last year. You see, we are rejecting this. So I expect a target on sell side, this level as my first target, and potentially this level, second target. So we have, let's go down to the weekly. What do we have in weekly? In weekly, we still have the order flow weekly bullish. You see, we test this demand zone one time, but we could even make another higher high. So seems like price is rejecting and start to drop even lower. So let's see, plus the fact that we have the daily order flow, we can see this, for example, this imbalance is holding price. We are rejecting very hard. It's clearly seems like we going lower. So with the weakness on the US dollar, we are bearish. We also have the daily order flow bearish, aligned with the 4 hour. We just switch bearish on 4 hour. Let me give you. We have, yeah, see, we have this shift. We just break this low. So for me, I want to see some retracement before another drop again on the USD CAD. So that's my plan on USD CAD. We have a huge imbalance right there, which is not overlapping, which is close around the monthly and yearly open, which will be act as a resistance before sending price even lower. Okay, so that's all I see on the USD CAD. Based on of the weakness of the US dollar, I don't think we could retrace the 4 hour order flow at least at the premium zone. I don't know. We will see, but all I want to say is I'm bearish right now on USD CAD. Okay, this will be my first target, and oops, and my second target will be around this level. Okay. The next pair is USDCHF. So USDCHF, we said it. I said it in the beginning of the video. CHF, based on what's going on right now on the uncertainty around the world, CHF acts as a safe haven. So CHF getting stronger, it means that we have a lot of uncertainty, and with the US dollar getting weak, is clearly we could see a bearish movement on USDCHF. So we seems like we getting out of this big range. You see, let's go down to the daily. Seems like this demand, let me this monthly or daily demand, I believe, will not hold anymore. So it seems like we are targeting the low of this demand. So I will not be surprised if we run that on the sell side. Daily, what do we have in daily? We have a new order flow. You can see new order flow forming. Now the daily order flow here, daily order flow, you can see the 4 order flow, high, low, high, a new low forming. So I am expecting maybe in the supply we have a harder block here, nice harder block here. So I want to see price return at least around this zone to make a new short again. That's my only plan on USDCHF. So even if we sweep the high, we still have the day order flow intact, the 4 hour order flow intact. So yeah, I'm bearish on USDCHF as long as we have the weakness on the USD. Okay. The next one is gold. Gold is still bullish. It's clear that we are bullish based on what's going on in the world. Gold's like KO in the world when we have major events like war, like uncertainty. That's the kind of environment that gold's like. So it's pretty much performing. We almost reached the targets at the year where I fixed at the beginning of the year around the $5,000. 1 ounce of gold will worth 5,000. We are pretty much close. I think we will run it. If I go to the 12 month, last year was a very good performance with gold. We made in 2025, we made around 65%. So this year we currently around 15%. So if we match 65, we will reach something like, ooh, around, I believe, is $7,200. Yeah. Mm. We still have room to go. I will not be surprised if we keep going higher, because gold like uncertainty. With people like Trump in power, we so let's go to the weekly. Weekly, we are still bullish. Daily order flow bullish. We see order flow is bullish. 4 hour bullish. So all the time frame are bullish. So sometimes I wonder how people still want to sell gold right now. So for me, gold is always bullish. I'm not comfortable enough to buy at all-time high. So that's why I want to see a little bit retracement, even even lower. before taking a buy again on gold. So gold is buy. It's clear. Next thing is silver. Silver, same thing as gold. We are bullish. Nothing more to say. We are in all-time high. We pretty much blow past the target I fixed at the beginning of the year around the 100. So yeah, it seems like metals like gold and silver are performing very well again in 2026. Keep going higher. So daily bullish or the flow for our bullish. So we are still bullish. So again, same thing. I want to see price return at least in a discount zone to start buying again. So that's my pen and silver. The next one is the crude oil. So crude oil, interesting. Last week or this week, we don't even have a good number on crude oil inventories. We get a 3.6 million barrels held in inventory, which is a lot. It could mean a lack of demand. So that's made me a little bit cautious to take a buy on crude oil. But also, in the other hand, we have this news, the Trump escalation against Iran. So could make oil rise again. So the demand could not came from the commercials, but could came from this escalation of Trump who want to I think he want to send a warship in Iran. So these kind of events can easily impact the demand on oil. So that's why we see can also see a little bit rise on monthly around this level we mark up. So let's go down to the weekly to see clearly. Remember, we are still distributing around this channel. We currently we are located, we are price is located in this support zone. See, this is the support which is holding price right now. So I have my weekly order flow. I explained in my last video. I want to see at least a retrace of this weekly order flow, at least around this premium zone. See, these three yellow line represents my premium zone where I want to see price retrace at least. See, I want to see price retrace at least around this zone. You see, this zone. So, so what happened based on the situation in the Middle East with Iran? Trump's want to send warship. Can see we also have a daily order for shifts last week, in the previous week. If I take from this low to this high, we retrace around the 50% of Fibonacci, which is the discount zones. Let's go down to the weekly, and we also have a change of structure around this discount zone. You see, price break this high, close above this point of control, and this could be a nice target, a nice entry for the oil next week. And I think I'll take this trade on Monday. I will place some order limit around this point of control, this zone, and take a trade on monthly because maybe place if price trigger me, I will place my stop. I will be very aggressive on my stop loss. I will trade my stop quickly and break even because of remember we don't have a demand from commercials, but the demand can came from, as I explained, the demand can came from these events with the situation in the Middle East with Iran. Okay, so in either way, I want to buy because we are really in a good spot to buy oil, crude oil. So you can see it closed very strong above this candle. So this is a good sign from here. I think I will not use my usual risk, but I will use something like half of my risk to enter this trade. I will not, yeah, yeah. So we will see targeting this level as my first target, and maybe if the demand is very high and the pressure on Iran keep going, I will not be surprised if we reach this supply zone. Okay, so yeah, I think this oil could be a good setup for this week, for this upcoming week. Okay, 4 hour, yeah, we could see even lower the retracement around this point of control of the last week, overlapping with this imbalance. Yeah. So if price decide to even retrace lower, this will give me a good, even a good risk reward. So something around here, we put my entry to take a trade on Monday. But there is a possibility that we on Monday opening we gap even higher. So there's nothing I could say I could do. Okay, if price decide to gap even higher at the Monday opening, I will not chase the price. So let's see. I think I'm bullish on US oil, so would be a best setup for the upcoming week based on the situation on Middle East. Okay, and let's finish with natural gas, which was very a miss for me because I predict the natural gas, the rise of natural gas very well, but I didn't get the chance to enter a trade. We have a good number this week on the storage. We have something natural gas inventory down by 120 billion cubic feet, which is very good for it's proof that there is a demand, and we know in the winter season we household need to warm up, and I think they announced a winter storm in North America. It concerned Canada and United States, so that's could explain this huge demand because we observe this week a huge kind of huge demand. So based on that, I was expecting price was in a demand last week. I was expecting a rise, but not this kind of huge pump up of the natural gas. So we are we are rejecting the point of control from the last year. If we go back today, I was expecting a shift of the forward order flow. You see, I put on some kind of alarm here, but I was not. I was working at that time, so when price closed above it, the my plan was to get an entry above this shift of structure on 4 hour and put my stop around below this low and take advantage of a swing trade. So I was expecting a break of this 4 hour order flow. So I put some alerts on the close of this shift of structure, this high, but I missed the trade. I was working at that time. So when I came to the chart, the price was already around this level, I think. So I I don't want to chase price. So I was waiting a little bit retracement to get in again, but price didn't give me a retracement. So, but it's okay. It's okay because we have interesting data. We have demand. We know we have demand right now. Demand is in control. Maybe I will still long this trend. We close bullish. I will not be surprised if we reach this level, this order flow, this order block. Excuse me. You see, if I go to the line chart, we have this volume. You see, this is my order block. I will target. So that was my first target for the year. We pretty much reach this target in 1 week. My second target would be this order block. So we still have, I think, room to get in the trade to take advantage of this huge demand. Okay, so that's why I want to see. You see, we have this point of control from the last week. See, so my plan is let's go down to the 1 hour. We see we have the shift around this point of control. We just shift, we break this high, so we kind of forming a demand right there. So I'm expecting to place a trade around here to take my first target, and maybe if we break above, take my second target right there. So for me, it's not late. Demand is here. So we miss the first move, but let's prepare for the second move, you know. So I think commodities like US oil and natural gas will be a good setup for the following weeks. So that's it. As long as we are not breaking this low, I will still be bullish because demand is here. So that's the end of the video. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. This will help me know that you appreciate my content always. Thank you for watching. Have a nice trading week and be careful on the market. Be careful on Trump's tweets. It was also the bad time trader. I'm out.